Hey, welcome to the Dreway. I'm glad you're here. Yes, you are at the best. Did you know this? You're at the best show on all of YouTube right now. You probably didn't even know that. And what's that based on? My opinion. My opinion. Okay. I'll leave the comedy to somebody else. Anyway, we got a great show for you. I'm glad you're here. But before we get started, I got to give you a little secret. I'm a little perturbed today. So just be prepared. I'm just trying to prepare you. But forget about being prepared. It's time to get started. Let's start the show. Let's go. Hey, welcome to the Dreway. Let's talk. It's Memorial Day. It's Memorial Day, and I feel it's necessary to talk about Memorial Day because on this day we pay homage to those soldiers who have lost their lives. But I don't know if you've read it yet today, but Donald Trump on Truth Social posted, I don't even know what to call it. Okay, let's call it what it is: the biggest pile of shit I've ever seen a president post anywhere. Here it is, Memorial Day, and we're supposed to be honoring soldiers who have given their lives for this country. And instead of the president respecting that and talking about that, he went on a long, nasty, mean rant that all I can say is just ramblings of an 80-year-old man. He just sounds completely unhinged, I don't care. You could be the most devout Republican in the world, and you can look at what this man just posted and go, what kind of yo-yo posts something like that on Memorial Day? You just, you don't do that, you know? And that goes with something that, someone asked me earlier. They said, Drayton, what makes a man a real man? And I said, first of all, a real man, he takes responsibility. He takes responsibility for his actions. He takes responsibility for his mistakes. That's what a real man does. That's number one. Number two, he provides and he protects. That's his job. That's his job as a man. Number three, he respects others, particularly if he's with a woman. Yeah, he respects that woman and he respects people around him. Number four, he tells the truth. Real men tell the truth. Yeah, it's what they do. Number five, they control their emotions. They always are in control. They don't let things get them out of whack. They're in control. Number six, they lead by example. Real men lead by example. They never ask someone to do something that they wouldn't do themselves. And number seven, a real man keeps his word. Yeah, that's what a real man does. He keeps his word. And last but not least, number eight, a real man never stops growing, never stops learning, never stops moving forward. Now, let me ask you a question. Of those 8 things, those 8 qualifiers that make a man a real man, how many of those apply to Donald Trump? How many? 1? 2? None? I want you to think about that. I want you to think about that because on a day that we're supposed to be honoring soldiers, and many of us have family members that, served and gave their lives. On a day like today, to have someone that doesn't even remotely qualify as being a real man, Yeah, people have to endure forever what this president wrote today. Forever, that will be right there for all to see. That instead of honoring on Memorial Day soldiers that have given the ultimate sacrifice, our president, Donald Trump, decided to go on a evil, nasty rant that disrespected everyone who's ever worn a uniform. Everyone, in my opinion. And it's just sad, and I didn't want to do a Dreway without commenting on it, because when I read it this morning, I was just like, I have to be honest, I was in shock. If you haven't read it yet, go ahead and read it. And tell me what you think. Tell me if you think anyone in their right mind would do something like this, say something like that, post something like that on a national holiday where we're supposed to be honoring soldiers that have given their lives. I'm completely disgusted. I hope you are too. Let me know in the comments what you think about all this, because, somebody was asking me earlier about what makes a real man a man. And as I went through the 8 things, taking responsibility and protecting and providing and respecting others and telling the truth and controlling your emotions and leading by example and keeping your word and never stop growing. As I went through all 8, I realized our president had none of them. He was 0 for 8. 0 for 8 on being a real man, because those are the basics to being a real man. And he failed all 8 of them. Kind of sad, right? That somehow this man is president and he is anything but a real man. Let me know what you think in the comments. Welcome to the Dreway. I'm glad you're here. I haven't even asked you to hit the subscribe button yet. Yeah. I used to beg. Now I'm just like, if you do it, you do it. If you don't, you don't. You're just going to miss out on great shows. That's all. I actually feel sorry for you at this point. Don't go anywhere. More Dreway to come. I'm just sitting here thinking about how we've lost our way as a country. We lost our way because we no longer think that Americans, Americans, all of us Americans, we don't believe any longer that there's a base level at which all Americans should live at. The richest country in the world, you wouldn't think we would allow people to go below a certain level. But we're not that country anymore. We're the only country, pretty much, of the countries that have wherewithal. We're the only country that, healthcare? Nah, pay for it. You want to be taken care of in this country? How much money you got? And that to me, before I go any further, that to me is I can't wrap my head around it. Here I am, almost 62 years old, heading for Medicare. And Medicare, instead of being bolstered and being better, the Republicans are always trying to take money from it. They're always trying to make Medicare worse and worse and worse, instead of trying to make it better. And I've spent a lifetime putting money into Medicare. I spent a lifetime doing it. And now, as I'm going to need the benefits when I get older, I'm being told I have to have supplemental insurance programs. I got to supplement my Medicare. Why? Why do I have to do that? This is why. I'm going to tell you exactly why. Because rich people don't want to pay for anything. Yeah, Rich people think they pay enough. Never mind that they have mountains and mountains and mountains of money. They brag that they pay a lot already. They pay most. You should pay almost all because you have almost all the money. The amount of money you have compared to other people is astronomical. And the thing is, if we took a little extra money from you, you wouldn't even know. It wouldn't affect anything that you do whatsoever. But we keep avoiding billionaires and taxing billionaires like they're going to go someplace else. Where are you going to go? Where are you going to go and pay no taxes? Where are you going to go? Let me know. But I'm looking at them going after Medicaid. I'm looking at them going after Medicare. I'm looking at the food companies. We haven't even discussed this yet. How about the food companies just putting out garbage? Just straight garbage. And have you been to a school cafeteria lately? Why do we feed our kids the basics? Why don't we feed our children high nutritious foods? Why do we feed them the closest thing to prison food you've ever seen? Why? And I'm really asking you, why? Why are third, fourth, fifth graders being given food that prisoners would eat? Why don't we have apprentice chefs? Why don't we have cooks? Why don't we have real people that know how to prepare food, making food for our children? Why don't we invest in that? Because I don't know about you. One thing I've noticed, when I was in high school, there was a fat kid and there was always a fat kid and a fat girl. There was one fat kid and one fat girl in our whole senior class. There was one. Have you been to a middle school lately? A middle school, not talking high school. Middle school. Do you want me to tell you how many fat kids you'll see in that middle school? It's insane. And it's an epidemic. And what are we doing about it? Nothing. Nothing. But we literally send our kids to school knowing that the lunch that is served there is essentially inedible. Who would want to eat that stuff? Honestly, have you gone to actually eat the lunch that your kids eat? You should try it sometime. Go to lunch. Grab one of those trays and then watch what's put on your tray. And then I dare you to eat it. And that's the problem with America today. That's the problem. And it's getting worse. But as I have senior parents and I watch the medications they have to go through, I watch the doctor's appointments and the specialists. Here my parents are in their 80s, and you should see the circus they make them go through just to see a specialist. Oh, you got to get this approval and that approval. Then you have to call your insurance and blah, 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 blah. It's a travesty, folks. It's an absolute travesty. The USA healthcare system is completely broken, and it's a joke. And if what passes, what the Republicans are trying to do, if that passes, the damage to our healthcare system, it'll collapse. Collapse. Let me know what you think. I know, it's sad. But put something in the comments. I want to hear from you. Don't go anywhere. I have a final thought. I see on TikTok and stuff, I see men and women arguing a lot. I see women upset and they don't want to deal with men anymore. Let me make something perfectly clear. Okay? There are men and then there's guys. All right? Men, real men, I just gave you the description of exactly what they are. And as you can tell, they're rare. There's not a ton of men out there. There's a ton of guys out there. And what there's also out there is a ton of women. because guys, with women, they're just looking for attractive and nice. That's a great start. To a guy, that's a great start. We don't have to have much more than that. Just be attractive and be nice. That's it. Now, for a man, yeah, a man has all kinds of qualifications he has to meet. Oh yeah, he's got to make a certain amount of money, have a certain lifestyle. He has to be a certain height. Oh yeah, men have qualifications they have to meet. Women, no. That's why there's tons of women and very few men. And that's what I want you to understand. Many of you aren't dating men. You're dating guys. Your experiences are with guys, not men. So quit coming on TikTok and other things going, men suck, men are terrible, men are this, men are that. You haven't dated one. You've been dating guys. Yeah, and guys aren't men. I broke it down for you. I told you the 8 things that make a real man a man. And as you can tell, to find that, it's pretty rare. But that's why men are largely taken. Men are not just outwardly available because good men are taken up quickly. And if a man isn't choosing you, it's because you don't fit his criteria. You're not good enough. It's that simple. Men are looking for women that are good enough. And if you're not being chosen, there's a reason. And that's why you have to deal with guys. Yeah, you're not dealing with men, you're dealing with guys. And you're going to continue to have issues with guys. Yeah, because they're not men. So just understand that there is a difference. And understand that, not all of you are entitled to a good man. No, just like apparently we're not entitled to just simple insurance. Yeah, other countries, yeah, they insure all of their residents. United States, no. So just like that, you're not entitled to a good man. In fact, many of you are never going to experience a good man. Because they're just not looking for you. You're going to be stuck with guys. It's how it works. I don't make the rules. I just live by them. Thanks for stopping by the Dreway. Hope to see you again tomorrow. Don't forget, there's a new Dreway each and every day. So I hope you stop by. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Have a wonderful Memorial Day. We'll see you again real soon.